Katie, yeah, welcome to Build Manners.
Hey, guys, so happy.
I just did about 5 minutes of prep talk intro. We have a live audience here. It's very bold. Yeah, thank you. Thank you to the one person. Thank you. Um, for me, I dive into things, and I'm really excited because I shared with everybody previous, and I want to share with the audience. Saturday night, I texted you 9 o'clock, and I asked you if we could change this talk to an actual podcast. And I had a condition to that podcast because you had already agreed to come and talk to us if we build. We'll do a fireside chat style, but I really want my podcast to be raw, authentic, real, maybe some tears, most likely from me more than anybody else's. Yeah. I know you have a story and I'm really excited to dig into it, but what impressed me the most, you sent me a voice note and I felt the genuineness in your voice note, just saying I am open. And I think I just fell in love with you a little bit in that moment because just the way that I could tell it wasn't just oh yeah, I'm going to be real. I can feel it. And I know you have a story. So we're going to kind of dig into that. But I want to define to set the tone. So you are a habit change expert.
Yep.
What is that?
So a lot of people are like, habit change expert. I used to start out and say, oh, I'm a health and confidence coach. I'm a wellness coach. And they're like, oh yeah, you and everyone else, right? It's like, what is that? Yeah. I am a habit change expert in that I understand that people know what they should do. They have the best of intentions and they don't do it. And what are the credentials? I mean, yes, I have a master's degree in health psychology. Okay, so fine. But really, it's more than this. Like, that's nice on a resume. It gives me some street cred. But the real street cred is coaching countless clients on how to change their habits to feel more confident, more healthy, more vibrant. My own burnout, figuring out how to build my own environments, the equation, how to change my own habits away from depression and anxiety and towards living my most vibrant life. So yes, I have a master's degree in this area and some coaching certifications, and that looks great on the website. But what the most important thing to me is actually living it and figuring it out and helping other people to do the same.
Let's start there. Yeah. You had said, and I want to make sure that I get this right. You wrote to me full mental breakdown in your studies. Well, we're just diving in.
Oh, we're going there.
How do you get to a full mental breakdown? And what does that even look like?
I think at the time I didn't even know what it was because I was still in the treadmill of life like anyone else, right? Like you're just like, oop, doop, 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 ding. I did my degree, yeah. And then I went back and then I did my master's degree and I'm like, check, check, check. Oh, and I look pretty, check. And I'm skinny, check. And I got a beautiful, awesome husband, check. And then I had 2 boys, check. And then I, got the great government safe job, check. And then I got the house with the freaking white picket fence around it, check. And I was like so laser focused that I didn't even know that I was drowning until it happened. And you know what's so interesting? I didn't have the breakdown until I got it all, until I literally checked off the last thing off my list.
I have thoughts on that, but why do you think that?
I think because I was chasing happiness. So I was chasing this, but I'll be happy when I have that. But I'll be happy when I have that. And then you get so distracted and focused and you forget to live your friggin' life. And then you're like, oh no, but maybe if I do that. And if anyone's on my Instagram, I have a 5-minute speaker slam speech on this.
Okay.
And I say in the speech, I remember having the full mental breakdown, going off work, mental health leave, really dark thoughts, like bad. Couldn't function. And I was a mom of 2 boys and a pretty high profile job. And this had never happened to me. Like, what is wrong with me? And I remember saying to my therapist, I don't know what else to do. And she's like, well, maybe that's the problem. Maybe you got to do less and maybe you got to be more. And I was like, shit.
Could we swear on this podcast? We absolutely swear on this podcast. That I already thought about that.
Okay, because I understand. Yes. So I really believe that until you go through it, like I did not see the forest for the trees until I crashed.
Had you done therapy prior to that, or was that the thing that Like, what is the moment where you were like, I can't do this anymore and I need help?
I I remember in university, my parents, like, I would really fluctuate and have really low times. And I remember them kind of being like, go see the school counselor. And I did. And I was like, I always managed my depression, let's call it at the time, with physical activity.
Yeah.
Not knowing it at the time. But that's so when I was in a sport, when I was active, when I was moving, I was fine. But then all of a sudden I would notice, like, first year university, wasn't playing my 5 sports anymore. Felt the low, but I could like it, you just don't put two and two together. Yeah, you don't put two and two together because hindsight's 2020. So I had not done any formal therapy. No, not at all. Not to mention so what? I'm 44. This was in my early 30s. Like, no, Let's Talk Day wasn't even a thing yet. People weren't talking about this. I remember being petrified to go to my boss because I had just kind of come back from my second mat leave and I was maybe 6 months in, and I was petrified because I was a high achiever and I needed to ask for a couple days off because my doctor was putting me on medication and he said it was going to be a rocky ride. And I was like sweating, petrified. Now, oh my gosh, the world has changed.
Yeah.
It still needs to change, but like I thought it was only me. I'm broken. Look at my life. Everything's perfect. How could I be like, how dare I? It's not that bad. You don't look that bad. No, you look so confident. And you didn't know. I had any idea. Yeah. My best friend didn't know. I hid it all because I felt guilty because look at my life. I literally like checked all the boxes. Yeah. So people have it worse than me. Why am I going to complain? Bad news bears. That's when it all comes crashing down. And so the actual moment is you can no longer function. You have trouble getting out of bed, like all the things, right? Like just everything is gray, breaking down, crying all the time. Yeah.
Point of no return, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you go and you tell your work, your employers, all the responsibilities that you have added, you're now letting everybody down. Yep. And then you have to tell your story because you look good and people won't understand why you feel the way that you feel.
Yeah. And because you put on this show for so long too, right? And everyone's like, shocked. Yeah. Like, the show was the mask. I was very good at keeping the mask up, except for with my husband. Right? A lot of us probably feel it. Yep. And God love him.
God love them. God love husbands.
Very helpful.
Put up with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I try to, the point of the podcast is that parts of me will get revealed in the podcast as well. And I'm looking for guests that I will connect with. And when I say I connect. And I'm so curious to know, was it one event? Like, clearly the buildup happened. How long do you think that buildup was actually happening for? Can you pinpoint? I'm assuming years, if you can look in hindsight.
Years for sure. I would say it really started crashing down when I had kids.
Okay.
Because as a high achieving, independent woman who all of a sudden, and I mean, this could be risky to say as a woman, right? But like, I love my kids. Don't get me wrong. I would do anything for them. And I'm like the manager of my son's football team. And I love my kids, but I was not prepared to lose my freedom. And I didn't realize I was not prepared. And my husband continued to have his freedom. Right. And, it was helpful. But I think that was the really, like, I think I was always teetering, but I was managing it through my own sports, through my own social life, through what really drove me. And when you have little kids, you are just giving and giving and giving and giving. And I know that for me, that was really difficult. And it's hard to admit that as a mom. And it's not that I didn't love them. It's that I felt like the things that I needed from my personality, that extroversion and the sports and whatever, it's like it all cut off. And so I know for me, that's when it really started, was like at home, 2 kids, husband traveling all the time and working, and massive pressure on myself. Very good at holding myself to the highest standard. Can't let a ball drop. Yeah. Got to be the best mom and the best person at work and the best this and the best that. And so all of a sudden then you're not filling your own bucket, which is what I helped a lot of people about figure out. You're not filling your own bucket because you think it's selfish to do that. And then you are also holding yourself to the standard that it's impossible. You cannot be the best at everything. That was the big again for decon.
I heard this. I just did a 2-day healing retreat, and we had a like an after call, and there was a woman in there, a mother, and she talked about empowerment. And I'm trying to remember what the word was exactly, but it stuck with me because she said that she could put boundaries up and not feel guilty about it. So it's one thing to be somebody who puts boundaries up, and I'll relate that to myself. I'm good with boundaries. I feel so much guilt internally with the boundaries that's the next level for me, is to not feel that guilt. And I think that, when you're used to being the go-to person, the one that excels, the one that's just like naturally always going to be in the top quadrant, the upper quadrant of whatever, the above average, then when you don't meet those expectations, then it can like start to impact your identity.
Yeah, and I call myself now a recovered, pretty much, people pleaser.
Yeah.
So it's also the people pleasing, 100%.
Yeah. Do you feel like you were just chasing, and then when you had children, the outlets that you had to be able to feed the beast, we'll call it, were now no longer, and now you're stuck actually dealing with those emotions, those feelings?
100%. And the only parenting book I ever read and that I refer or recommend to people is The Conscious Parent by Dr. Shefali.
Okay.
And in there she says, you want to really wake up spiritually, have children, right? So like they're going to poke on all the triggers. They're going to make you, like they are going to poke on all the things that you feel like you're not enough in. And I would say you probably, I wonder if you'll agree with this.
Tell you, but
There's two, I think the two like biggest spiritual awakenings for me was having kids and then becoming an entrepreneur.
Interesting.
Because you have kids with your heart walking around outside your body, and then all this judgment of how you should do it, and then you're thinking it's like how does it not be an extension of your own ego? Because like if they're misbehaving, it's on you, and then there's all
Yeah.
And then you become an entrepreneur, and again, it's on you. It's on you. It's especially if it's your business. So I have noticed becoming an entrepreneur in the last couple of years has been a whole new kind of cycle into the same kind of like, oh, you gotta grow some balls, pardon me. We're going to ask, like just to be able to like not, feel like everyone's judging you or questioning your choices.
It's interesting because when I have one son, so he's 13. And when I had him, I never thought I was going to be a mother. And so I didn't plan to have him, and I had him, and I'm so grateful, all the things. But when he came, all of a sudden, I knew exactly what to do. Like I felt so centered in being a mother. And it was a really strange, but that love for me, when you say spiritual awakening, I have never felt love like that. And I explain it like agony and ecstasy at the same time. And all of a sudden, I'm now very vulnerable because all I could think about was him getting injured or hurt. I would drive bridges and I would think like, what if the bridge collapsed? And I'm now thinking about the exit strategy, and I'm, pre-planning how I'm going to, fly out of the car and save him from, whatever tragedy it made up in my mind. And he ended up becoming an extension of me wherever I went. So his biological father and I are together. And so I was raising him on my own. And I was doing everything I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it. And I felt actually so empowered with it. But like the most vulnerable. I'd never felt feelings before. So that was very strange. But, and then as your entrepreneur also was this freedom that I had never felt before. But I definitely relate to the, when you're considered to be the high achiever, you're considered to be the best. Extremer, as we call it. You do all the things right. As soon as you stop doing the things right, or as soon as you start to crack a little bit, then you get to that point of like a blow up. And so that's why I thought that was such a good conversation for us to have, because on the outside, everything can look great. And that's really what this podcast has stemmed from, is where like I started to crack on the inside. And I couldn't actually hide it anymore because I was crying all the time. Like I couldn't stop crying. And that's hard to control, especially like when you're in a military setting and you're supposed to be a leader, and now you're just like, somebody asks you how you're doing, and my ball, I can't keep it together. So that was similar mental breakdown. I threw a chair. Jeff was like,
We like for first
grabbed it, slammed it on the ground, because I couldn't figure out something about per diem, because I had to go travel somewhere. And I was so frustrated. And it was almost like 20 years of filled up in that one moment where I could, like, I was violent and I was just like, from per diem. And that was when I was like, I should probably
straw that broke the.
I figured that out.
Oh wow.
Do you have a straw?
I don't think for the. It was a build for me. The build. It was the build, and I saw it. My husband saw it, and then I went to the doctor. Yeah. So for me, it was just more of a build, and it wasn't the. Now there were reactions, for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Get more.
I just didn't like the person I was becoming. Okay. You know, like I wasn't the wife I wanted to be. I wasn't the mom I wanted to be. I felt like I was reacting all the time. And then that's just breeds more guilt. And then there's more shame. Right? And then it just spirals even more. I just nothing was clicking.
How long did you stay in that state? And then how did you rebuild?
So the build-up was so long before I crashed. Once I actually just went off work for 3 weeks, pretty quickly like got into therapy. And you know what? I started feeling better pretty quickly because I did all the things. I got the village, right? Now, it's still taken me, like, I don't think the journey ever ends, really. I mean, I hope not. I hope that you're dead. If you're done growing, I really hope you're dead.
Yeah.
But really to get out of that hole, I will say medication was a game changer.
Okay. IUI, what kind?
I was on like, gosh, Alexa. Anyway, 92
Says like an SS.
NS, that's right. Which I was like, no, I'm on meds. I look at it like a supplement. It was like a life raft that got my head above the water in order to do the therapy, do the work. And I did energy work, therapy, coaching. Like I'm talking like, it's one nice thing to be type A. Because I'm like, who is going to help me? Yeah, let's go, right? So it's like, yeah, right?
Reiki.
Right, Reiki, right?
So it's like, I'm sure we'll get
it's like, if I can crash well, I can just get well.
West of energy work.
That's right. That's right. So that, I would say, I think I was on meds for about 2 years as I was building that. And then I was able to get off. But listen, like I call it my vibrancy toolkit now. I just continue building the toolkit. Okay, what habits do I need to change? How do I need to change my confidence? What do I need to do? Like, and so everyone has their own toolkit. Because there's not one. I do a lot of volunteer work with Dare to Be Vulnerable. It's lovely.
Yes.
Awesome.
We did a great mental health.
Yeah, I saw you there. Yeah, amazing here. If anyone here is in Ottawa, go to a Dare to Be Vulnerable event. They're amazing. And she talks about her like building your toolkit, like your mental health toolkit. I call it, from you, it's my vibrancy equation, whatever. But that's what it's like. Everyone is kind of navigating that and figuring out. And so, yeah, I'm a habit change expert. But you know, if I could if I could just tell you what I am, it's like I'm a vibrancy strategist.
Ooh,
Like I'm a vibrancy. I help you figure out how you're going to live your most vibrant life. Now, that didn't stick at the beginning because people were like, what the hell are you talking about? Vibrant life. Does that stick out of not received. But that's really what I'm doing. I had to just explain, like, okay, well, how do we do that? We need to first figure out what our goals are. Why are our goals? Are they rooted in our values? And then we have to figure out what are the mindset shifts and habit shifts that we need to take and make to get us from A to B. That's why I say habit change. It's really getting you out of your own damn way, so that you can live your most vibrant life. That's what it is.
I love it. So now moving forward, okay, so you've done 2 years of medication. I'd love that you can share that because it's not something to be ashamed of.
No.
It is a tool.
Yep.
And it can help you. And the important part is that you're doing the work and building, right? It's the good habits or the habits that is going to help prevent it for the next time.
Yep.
You're now moving forward. And then talk to me a little bit. Like, where did I want to know, because there's another event that happened, the fair.
Yeah.
We'll build up to that. What happened in between? And when did you determine that you were going to be a habit change expert? Because you're coming from corporate.
Yeah. 17 years in the federal government. It's kind of a blur, honestly, when the kids were young. I know that, not to make a very long story short, the crash allowed me to get the right help. So then I doubled down into therapy. My husband and I even did marriage counseling. That's the best thing we ever did. We're so open about that. And it was just kind of trial and error. I did energy work. So I just gained this new passion for, okay, I never want to go back there. So what am I going to do for my mindset and habits that's going to move forward? So I was able to use my physical and my background, right, in health psychology. I always promoted health for mental health. So I really dialed into my physical activity for mental health first, right? So really shifted the way I looked at my habits. Started getting help. And you know what the biggest shift is, honestly? I just started giving less bucks. Yes. And it is awesome.
You should have seen me 30 minutes before here. Jeff and Candace is like, they're all hustling around, bustling.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
40s are beautiful. Right for that. I'm in my mid 40s now, and I keep hearing them say, "Wait till your 50s." I can't wait if it's this fun. It's like I just started figuring out. So confidence is such a huge part of actually what I do with my clients, because I actually love. Everyone thinks you go do the healthy habits to get to become the person that's confident. No, that's completely backwards. You build the person and you build the confidence so that you can maintain the habit. Because I always say, the person that maintains, if you ever read James Clear, Atomic Habits, who do you need to become? Anyone could do the 3-week plan or the 6-week whatever, or the 18 weeks with the personal trainer. But if you're trying to actually change your life for good and change your lifestyle, you have to become somebody who prioritizes their health. You have to change who you are. And it takes confidence first to do the scary thing, to put yourself out there, to build the boundaries, to do all the things. So it's actually backwards. And so what I was doing without knowing is I was actually building my confidence. I was building my confidence in myself. I was building my confidence in setting boundaries little by little, trial and error. That's what I was doing over the years. And then getting to this point, I knew I started a blog. Remember blogs, everyone? Like 14 years ago, I got the healthyconfidentyou.com URL 14 years ago.
still have it.
That's my website now.
Amazing.
I started a blog. I was on mat leave. I just had this driving. I'm very spiritual, so I believe this is just what I'm meant to do, and I knew it then. But then society, I started coaching people on mat leave. And this is before coaching was a thing. I remember, what's a coach? You're like a basketball coach? It was even before it was a thing. Then I go back to work, right? And then after my second mat leave, first mat leave, second mat leave, all this stuff happens. I believe it's because I don't think I could have been a good coach before I went through all this.
It's true.
I needed a life experience before I could be a good coach.
It's true. It's I have a master's in organizational psychology, but I worked organizational psychology in my military career, and I can't think of one time that I'm relying on my master's to be able to bring the value. It all experience based, and so yes, I agree. Credentials can be important to some people on paper, but in actual experience and how you apply that.
Yep.
And so the fact that you've gone through what you've gone through, it's how you deal with the challenges, and that will tell me if you will be a good coach. It will be somebody who can help others grow through it, because you've seen the other side. And so they can borrow confidence from you because you've been through it.
Yeah. Never go get coached by somebody who's not doing the thing you want to do.
Maybe ask that question instead of asking
Right?
credentials. Maybe ask like experience.
Yeah. Like, don't go get, and I love, like, my mentor, my coach says, coaching is a transference of belief. You just said that. Like, I know, I have belief. I know my clients can absolutely change their life if they just kind of hack their habits and mindset. I know it because I've seen it so many times. And it's a transfer of belief because, and we might get into this in the way our brain works, but our brain is so afraid to change and it's going to grip on and give you all the excuses of why you should stop and all the things. And sometimes you just need that person and investing in yourself and committing to it, of course. But you need that person that's like, no, you can do this. No. Like, like, because our brain is wired to actually keep us stuck.
Yeah, totally. The confirmation bias, right? We are always looking for things to confirm what we believe. And so if you only stay in your own mind, if you only, listen to yourself, then of course you're just going to continue to see what you think. But if you have a conversation, you come to events like this and you actually talk about problems, challenges, thoughts. What do you think of this? I had one today with Reza, and it's like one perspective could change the entire game. You never know where that's going to come from. Like one conversation can literally change your life. And I'm so hungry for perspective because I know not to trust my stubborn brain.
Right.
It's hard, but it's like stubborn.
Yeah, and also we're making all our decisions based on our five senses and our past, right? And you joked about manifesting. Manifesting is actually neuroscience. I love how everyone's like manifesting. I'm like, so if you're Rory McIlroy and you've got a sports psychologist, it's okay. That's science. But if you wake up every day and you decide who you want to be and how you want to live and you affirm that and you write it down, that's woo-woo, same damn thing.
I used to have to describe, I would do this visualization exercise, or I would teach career transition counseling for military members. And like, we get these, old, crusty, we call them chiefs, right? They've been in for so long, it's their rank, and they're so stubborn. And so to think about turning the lights down and getting them to shut their eyes and reading and having them like visualize their future, I would have to frame it and talk about the Olympics and how this works for Olympians.
Yep.
So that I get an eye out. Sure. Yeah. Whatever it like, whoever the tough person is in the time to get that buy-in. Because when somebody buys in, magic can happen. But when somebody sits there and they're just like judgmental and they've already decided it's not going to work for them, well, then obviously it's not going to work.
And this goes for a lot of my clients are coming to me because they've tried and failed at changing their habits, right? I mean, I'd say about half my clients would be, confidence, executive coaching, confidence, but a lot of it's strict habit change. Like they've tried everything. They know they want to be healthy for the right reasons, not even close to over 40, just can't seem to stick to it. We actually work before everyone's thinking you're going to show up and just get like this is what you're going to do on Monday and Tuesday. No checklist. Give me the checklist. No, we're actually looking at first of all, what are your goals and are they the right goals? Like weight loss, if that's your goal, come talk to me because it's the reason it's not good. And we can go into all the reasons why that's like.
Is that the top habit? I want to know like what the top habits are that people come to you to try to change or implement in their life.
Well, I thought that weight loss was going to be the top habit, but because I attract women over 40 mostly, I have a couple male clients. We're on the executive coaching side. You know what it is for women? It's stepping into this new, most of them are over 40, many over 50. And I thought that it was going to be about that. It's actually not. They want to feel confident in this stage. They want to feel healthy. They see, and it's so beautiful. Like they see that this transition that we go through from like late 30s, early 40s, where you're still kind of white knuckling onto that 30-year-old body and whatever. And then you're transitioning through, call it perimenopause. I don't care. That's the buzzword right now. But they actually are coming to me for what I would call the right reasons. And I'm not saying weight loss is not, some people do need that for their health. Yeah. But when that is the only goal, it's based in shame. It goes against all of the signs for habit change. It is, I will say, like, if that is your goal and that is all your health habits are based around weight loss, I can almost guarantee you you're about to lose it. For a lot of reasons. How much time are we?
Let's keep going. I'm like, can I just be Joe Rogan and press play and then see where it goes? Well, we're in that body. So let's talk more about that. Do you guys want to hear more about the weight loss habits? I'm interested. I want to hear like what that is. So what? Somebody comes to you, they have the goal, they want to lose 25 pounds, let's say before January 1st. I don't know if that's realistic, but we'll go with it.
Okay, so let's workshop this. I would say right away, why?
I want to feel better about myself. I want my clothes to fit better. I want to feel
Okay. So then I would say
confident.
right. No, but so then I would say, okay, so you want your clothes to fit better. So why is that? So what's that going to get you?
It will make me feel better, and it will make me feel more confident.
Right. And why is the fitting in the smaller clothes going to make you feel more confident?
Because I will look better.
And why is getting thinner make you look better?
Because that's what society tells me.
So how is it that you actually want to feel? What is this all about?
Fitness.
Is it?
No, that's why my brain. I think about I want to jump up and down, like do burpees faster.
Right. So weight loss, usually it's because you get people through this when I coach people, and ultimately at the end, and sometimes they're crying, it's like they just want to feel like they're enough.
Okay.
They want to feel like they're enough. They want to feel confident. They want to feel attractive. And society has told them that they cannot feel like that, right, if they don't look a certain way, which is bullshit, because I was a size 6 when I had my mental breakdown, and I did not feel confident, and I did not feel like I was enough, and so it's bullshit. But this is the soup that society gives us, right? And so what we need to do first is we have to understand that our thoughts drive our feelings, and our feelings drive our actions. And this is cognitive behavioral therapy, if anyone's ever done it, right? And so if someone comes to me with the goal of weight loss, this is why it's backwards. You are coming in with a shame-based goal. So it's already, what does it make you feel like? What does it make you feel like? It makes you feel like shit.
Yeah.
Our actions are driven by our thoughts. You can have all the willpower that you want. Our actions are driven by our feelings. And so it's ass backwards. So here we come in with a shame-based goal that actually will take a while to hit. Our brain doesn't like change. It wants to keep us safe and comfortable. It's already hard enough to convince our brain to change. All of a sudden, you put a goal that's based in shame, makes us feel crappy. So there we go. First problem, not good. Because you could have the best of intentions, but you feel like crap. That's when you're going to restart. So you might be able to stick with it for a week or two. But what happens with your brain is that there's two things about our brain. Number one, it's going to always want to keep you safe and comfortable. No matter what, never going to change that. That's the operating system that we're dealing with. Number two, thankfully, it will rewire. We can create new habits. And I think this is what probably a lot of people are here to listen about. It's like, why, what's going on? So in the one hand, you are never going to change the fact that your brain wants to keep you safe and comfortable. It is always going to be harder to put the red wine down and turn the Netflix off and go to bed earlier and get up for your walk and choose the salad. Our brain has been wired because of cave time, right? So I was saying this in a workshop this morning. We are actually wired to crave sugar, high fat, because that's what we needed to do. We didn't know what the next meal was. So here we are putting the shame on us. What's wrong with me? What is wrong with me? More shame. Well, how does shame feel? Crappy. Guess what? How you feel is driving your actions. It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
And so I always say to people, you have to create goals understanding the way your brain works. Your brain, thankfully, can create new habits. Now, that's difficult, especially for the first 21 days. Everyone thinks it's 21 days to change.
Is that 20? I was just going to say,
No.
clarify. All right.
So it's I would say it depends on the habit, and it depends on the person, and it depends on a lot of things. But at the end of the day, it's a good guide to say that the first 3 weeks suck. Because the first 3 weeks, our brain likes to stay in the same homeostasis in the same mode, right? And it just becomes subconscious. As soon as you're trying to change a habit, you actually are building new neural pathways in your brain. I always share this on my Instagram with like little things in your brain that are actually like her. So the first time you're trying to get off the couch and go for that walk, we all know the hardest part is getting your shoes on. Why? Because you're having to convince your brain that really wants to keep you safe to like white knuckle that bike off of that neural pathway onto like the bumpy mountain biking trail that your brain is, we forget that our brain is the one causing all the excuses. I always get my clients to name their brain.
Okay.
Because you have to understand that you are dealing with an operating system and you have to figure out how to work with it, not against it. So when you name your brain, my name is Brandi. I'm like, Brandi, I know you're trying to keep me safe, but we got goals. And we are going to like Mel Robbins, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, work at Band-Aid. And I teach people all the tactics of that moment.
So Brenda's a little bit.
Brandi is sassy.
I got that.
Yeah. She's
Right.
sassy. She likes her red wine. She likes her Netflix. She likes sleeping in. She's like, she doesn't want to get up, right? But the cool thing is I love using exercise as the example. The first time, if you're sedentary and that's the mode that you're in, the first time is super, super hard. You white knuckle that bike off that nice path and you're on this like bumpy road that your brain's like, what the, like what's going on? They're really cool. So it's always going to be so hard. That's where you need accountability in the first little while. You really do need accountability. There's a bunch of different tactics, but accountability is huge. Investing in yourself, hiring someone, like that is huge. Because the first 3 weeks you're going to suck. As you show your brain that it's safe, because literally your brain is trying to keep you safe.
Yeah.
That's what's keeping you on the couch and eating chips. It doesn't want to change. It feels unsafe changing. And so we think it's us and it's an us problem. No, it's not. We got to take the shame out of it. This is the way our brain works. How do we hack it? So all of a sudden, if we can stick to that for the first couple weeks, though it takes more than that to get a habit in place. But if we could just start building those new neural pathways, the really cool thing is all of a sudden you're on the couch. It's been, you've white knuckled it for maybe 2 weeks because you've like built in these systems and maybe 3 weeks. All of a sudden, when you try to convince Brandi, your brain, to do it again, it wasn't that bad last time. I got some energy from that. Oh, you know what? I actually felt really proud of myself. Oh, I'm actually building muscle. Oh, that was actually a nice view. Oh, now I know where that road goes. So that's my analogy for building the new neural pathways. The thing is, though, the biggest problem I find with healthy habits is you can get into that. And here, probably people have gone in that mode. Maybe it's even a couple of months. And then they just fall off.
I was going to say self-sabotage.
Yeah. Or like you go on vacation or it's summer or there's something, right? So you can build it, but because your brain is always going to default to staying safe, sticking to it needs a whole other set of systems.
So how do you prevent that? You get through the white knuckling.
Yes.
You're sustaining.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, it's vacation. Or you hear the person that maybe gave up drinking for, say, 4 years. And then they did an event and they had a drink. And then they just like went off the rails.
Right. So for me, and I would say, like, I'm always careful with the addiction piece. I didn't work in that field for 6 years, but that's a whole other ball game. When it comes to, let's say, healthy habits, even mindset, also don't forget that this cycle that we just talked about with exercise, it also applies to your confidence in yourself, negative mentality, mindsets are habits. Confidence is a habit that you're building. Confidence is like going to the gym, right? Doing the scary thing. And like, I always like to give the analogy. I work with a lot of companies doing confidence talks. That first time, if you're shy, you have to put your hand up in the meeting and you're like, that first time, that's the same thing. You're white knuckling that bike. You do it again. And you're like, oh, the more you do it, oh, I didn't die. Oh, wow. Oh. The cool thing with confidence, though, is you don't fall off track like you do with the healthy habits. Once you build it, it's actually hard. It's there. Yeah. Healthy habits, though, I always say, James Clear, Atomic Habits. I love the book. It's very awesome. Okay, it's based in science.
Where's Candace?
Yeah, but she got so
Candace
love it.
said she thinks that she's read it the most of everybody.
Okay, so Candace, yes.
There's
and so like when
one
I'm
thing.
coaching, I'm taking that. I have my own tactics too, but like he's very bang on. And you'll remember in the book, he's like, you got to become. Like, who do you need to become? That's how you like anything that I work on my clients with habit change. Yes, there's tactics right at the beginning. Yes, we're gonna do 3 months of this, and we're gonna put these in place because we want to get you through that like white knuckle phase. once you're through that white knuckle phase, it's understanding you need a plan A, you need a plan B, and you really need to understand, like, who am I becoming? That value tagging. So this is a perfect example. If weight has always been your metric, you're going to fall off again.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If feeling good, feeling energetic. So I always get my clients, for example, is I'm okay if you want to eventually lose weight. Okay, great. It's better for your health. It's better for your, like, all sorts of things. It's better. I'm not saying throw that out. I'm not shaming people for wanting to lose weight. I'm saying if that's your only goal, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So I always say, what is important to you? How do you want to feel? So that's what I get digging. I was digging a little bit, right? Like, why are you actually, how do you want to feel every day?
I'm fitness oriented, so I think about burpees. That's literally my my metric is how I feel getting up and down, and can I like jump fast?
That's the feeling you're chasing.
Lightness, like
Okay.
springy.
Yeah, like aliveness.
Yeah, there's like a heavierness feeling.
Yep.
Versus when I'm at like peak condition and tight and toned and like hard and
So we're all chasing a feeling.
Yeah.
And that's what sometimes we forget. Yeah. So we're trying to lose weight because we're trying to chase a feeling. It could be confidence, it could be enoughness, it could be whatever, right? We are chasing, so what I always ask my clients, I want you to pick 3 words, and everyone can do it here. I want you to pick 3 words of how you want to feel every day.
Okay.
So for me, I want to feel vibrant, obviously. On brand of me. I want to feel vibrant, and to me that means authentically confident, and it's a feeling. To me, it's a feeling. It's like a lightness from the inside out, a confidence from the inside out, like a real authentic confidence that cannot be shaken by anybody else. That's what vibrancy is for me. I want to feel calm, which is hard for me. So I need to figure out things that I need to do to stay there. And then I also want to feel present. So I'll have times to say energetic, alive, whatever. Pick your words, right? Once you pick your words, then you start looking at your habits and mindset, because your brain needs the quick wins to keep showing up. You need to convince that brain every day. So let's say energetic. I love that one. So someone who's trying to lose weight, I usually try to move them more towards actually the way I want to feel is energetic, proud, alive, confident, right? And so then what you're able to do is you're able to look at, we have to think in the present moment. How am I going to convince my brain today? You're not going to convince your brain today to go for a 10-minute walk because you're not going to lose weight in a 10-minute walk. If you say my goal today is to do whatever I can do within my power to feel more energetic, you're probably more likely to do that 10-minute walk.
It makes so much sense. Like when you think about
identifying the person that you want to be, or the person that would be, fast doing burpees, would be whatever that is that you have as your goal. And then identifying, okay, what are the traits and habits of that person and how do they show up every day, versus I want to lose weight and I need to track all of this. And then every day I need to be like so focused on that, because then when you default back to your comfort zone, your brain, something in your day is changed or you didn't expect. Now you're like out of the sync, and then you go to the default because that white knuckling comes back. 100%. Hold on forever.
But if your goal is to feel you're most energetic, you're most proud, sometimes that's going to look different. I will say this because it's an open podcast. Women, not every week out of the month we're going to be doing a plan A week, ladies. I have clients and they're box ring me and they're like, I don't know what's happening. My whole plan A went to shit. And I'm like, look at your calendar. What week's oh, that's why. So we it can't be all or none.
Yeah.
And so we've been trained in this health world to be like all or none. And that's not the way life works. But in order to be, I love this meme I saw or something about mental health. The person with the best mental health is the person that's most flexible. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing for habit change. The person that maintains the health habits is the one that just becomes the person that prioritizes their health, and they could ebb and flow. Yeah, they could get sick and they can go on vacation, but they can make the small choices. If I'm going to walk on the beach, maybe I am going to have that margarita and that piece of cake, but I'm going to have like 20% of the size that I normally will because restriction doesn't work. So it's like you are becoming the person who is prioritizing your health in whatever way, and you get so confident in it that you can act. And I see this in my clients. It's beautiful. Even in about 3 months, they're like, go away, and then they come back, and then they realize I come back to my plan A this week. And the pride, right? But as soon as it's based on an external metric, like a scale, like please throw out your scales. I don't even, or one, like it's the most horrible metric for health. You know how you
It breaks your focus back to the number.
it's negative. So go based on how you feel. That if that's your new metric, then you're sick. So I'll say, okay, I'm sick this week, or I know I need to listen to my body, and my goal is to feel my most vibrant, my most whatever. Let's say energetic and healthy. This week, I know I need to. I can't do my plan A. I can't do my like Peloton or whatever I'm going to do. But I can do a 10-minute walk in the woods. I'll still do it because I know that that's my like MVA, my minimum viable action.
Yeah. I call it high-low. So yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like, what's the minimum barrier that you'll do?
Yes. Yes. But at the end of the day, you said it, and it's in James Clear's book. Who do you need to become? And so I actually love, and James Clear doesn't necessarily do this in his book, but when I'm working with people, I actually have them write out their like Katie 2.0. Like who is Katie 2.0? Love that. So she is someone who like prioritizes her health. She sets boundaries and sticks to it, doesn't feel guilty about it. Like all the things, like who are you trying to become? And then you can actually start looking at your mindset and habits, and you start to get toward, like move towards that. And if a Katie 2.0 is someone who prioritizes their health and feels confident in doing that, but still likes to have beer and nachos, which I do, live your life, because I want to live my life. I'm an 80-20 gal because I've tried full restriction. It doesn't work for me. I stopped drinking for a long time. I'm like, you know what? That's not working for me. Right now, cutting it down to 20%, that works. Cool. Might not work forever, but like can you ebb and flow, but can you really do it in a way that's staying true to how you want to feel every day? As soon as it's based in shame, you're going down the wrong path. Yeah.
That's helpful. I think that is like such a huge shift. If people can understand that, and it's a reminder for me too. So no more scale. I'll just do 10 burpees every morning, and then I'll just like see how I feel. I can do it faster, then I know I'm on the right track.
Yeah. I mean, some people, as long as like, listen, some people love, like, it is motivating for some people to like track their steps and have goals. Okay. Like, so I'm not going to say if it works. The scale one though, for me is a tough one, like, because it just built so much shake. It's good until.
Right? And so if you're relying on that scale to give you that boost of the confidence that you need, then that's where it's going to fail, because that until point, then that's where the chips can fall.
Yeah. And I always like to say, especially for health, flip it to what do I need to lose? It's what do I want to gain?
Love it.
So let's say, for example, if you're a perimenopausal woman, we know we should be weight training and eating protein. If you don't know that, you're not on Instagram. So I love looking at it like, what do we need to gain? I want to gain muscle. I had a client, and she's actually got a testimonial on my Instagram, and she knew she wanted to start resistance training, just like hated it and everything, but whatever. We worked together for 3 months. She's finally sticking to her program. She still is, like a year later. She's open about this, so I can say this. She was feeling great. She changed her goals. It was no longer about weight loss, which it always was for her entire life, which was the problem. All of a sudden now was, what could she gain? How could she change it? We did all the things. We changed the systems. It was going great. She calls me in a panic 2 months in because she'd stepped on the scale and it hadn't moved. And I'm sitting going, do you feel more energetic? Yep. Yeah. Do you feel better in your clothes? Yep. Do you feel proud? Yep. Do you feel like it's changed your relationships? Yep. So you're telling me the only thing that is not moved is the number on the scale? Yep. Do you know that muscle weighs more than fat? But then she was like, see?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
It was just like such a negative.
She's genuinely feeling good about herself. If her clothes are fitting better, it's all the things. And then the thing that nobody else can actually see is that they make life right.
Yeah. And then I've had other clients that came to me because they thought they wanted to lose weight. And when we do our 3 months, like kind of exit, I'll coach for more than 3, but the way that's at the core habit change, they'll say, I can't believe it, but I don't care about that anymore. Oh, it's music to my ears. because they just feel more confident.
Game changer. It's a game changer. It is so free. Absolutely. I was wondering if that was like the top thing. What's another habit that you find people struggle with or want to include in their day-to-day that maybe they're not doing?
So, it's really interesting. I coach a lot of high achievers, and it's space for their own mental health.
Okay.
So, like, they want to feel more calm, more present, but they're on the crazy treadmill. So it doesn't sound like a habit, but it kind of is.
Yes.
Because we actually have to build it space. Sometimes we'll build in actual things like a morning, depending on if I like a morning meditation, I have time. And sometimes it's just permission to slow down, permission to say no, permission to like care about, give a little
Like, would you call that boundary?
yeah, sometimes it's boundaries. Boundaries can be tricky because sometimes people think boundaries are like F you, and it's not really what they are. It's really more like, what is a boundary without guilt, right? What is a boundary without guilt, and what is a boundary without F you? Because I see that too. You're not respecting my boundaries.
Yeah.
Like that's not healthy either. So I would say, yeah, number one is I want to feel more healthy physically. So what do I need to do? And that's usually like a bunch of things, right? How they're eating, how they're moving, how they're sleeping. So a little more physical. And the other one is I need to get off of this freaking treadmill. I cannot shut my brain off. I do not feel like it's a confidence, calm, content kind of mixture on the other side.
It sounds like that's what you would have needed before.
Yes.
Sam.
I'm giving everybody what I needed. That's what we do. We're just stopping people up. We wish we had. Yeah.
You're going to be pivoting my entire programs. Just meltdowns all the time. Okay, amazing. This is helpful. It's exactly what's in your bio. You know the things,
Yeah.
and you still just don't do it. Or you don't put weight to it, I think maybe that's it.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, okay, identity, you have to become the person. Yes. What would that person do? They still focus on the stuff, the minute and the scale and whatnot, as it's like, you gotta throw that out. So I think that's gonna give a lot of value. Let's move forward and let's fast forward to today. And maybe you could share what happened now after you built all the tools. You're helping people, you're aware.
Yep.
Tell people what happened.
In June, what was that? In June, I had, so I had what we had originally called a heart attack. Now it's a myocardial infarction with no obstruction of coronary arteries, a MINOCA. So, long story short, I had a virus. I was sick, and it was what I call mom sick, which means I was still working, still coaching, still speaking, still go, still working out, and landed in the hospital. Like woke up in the middle of the night, burning across the back, down the arms, all the heart attack symptoms.
Yes.
I went to the hospital. Troponin levels are high. If we have any medical people, they'll know what that is. And 5 a.m. in the Renfrew Hospital in June, my husband looking at me and when he says, "You've had a heart attack." Yeah, at 44 as a wellness coach. Not good for the brand. Not good for the brand.
What was going through your mind?
I was like, are you kidding me? Because I was coming off, like I just left the government. I mean, I'd been building my business for 4 years. I was down kind of part-time. I finally left, in the earlier, and so like March. But then my business was blowing up. And I was loving it. And my dad, who's a doctor, is like, don't forget, good stress is still stress. That was the lesson.
That's important.
Because I was flying high. I was like keynoting at KPMG, Ernst & Young, Minto. I'm like getting all these new one-on-one clients. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's like
working.
I've built this for 4 years. It's fine. Because everyone's like, where'd you come from? I'm like, I've been slugging my ass for 4 years. I did not come out of the closet. Like it was like, it's been building, but it's starting to hit now. It's starting to hit. And I wasn't saying no. I'm like, this is my passion. And my energy healer, we get there. He's like, you're giving your light away. You don't know now. You're just so passionate. And I know, and I still feel it, and I'm still working on it. Like, I can even feel it. Like, I have to be careful now. Like, I just read a 3-hour workshop this morning. Learning. This afternoon, I blocked my afternoon. did for you. The old me would have come home, blah, 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 emails, marketing, da. So it's like, I'm still learning. We're all still learning.
With your sister doing
Right?
a 3-hour workshop at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And so it's, we can love what we're doing, which I did. I couldn't believe it. I was so upset. I was in the Heart Institute I was Renfrew Hospital, then Heart Institute. I was there for a week. They did all the tests. Long story short, picture of health, like literally the picture of health. You had a virus attacked your heart. I know damn well that was the universe sent me a message. Like, I'm a pretty healthy person, so I do believe in that stuff.
Yeah.
But I was like texting Leanne Lang from, if anyone knows Leanne, she's now the head of, she's on the news, and now she's the head of the Heart Institute Foundation.
Okay.
And she's a friend. I'm a friend. And I'm like, I'm in the Heart. She's like, what? I'm in the Heart Institute. And then I became like, help them do some promotion and continue to help them because I was a healthy woman who had a heart attack.
What really stood out to me was the good stress point.
Yes.
And I think it was last year, I was doing 75 hard and I got pneumonia. But that wasn't good enough reason for me to quit 75 hard in the middle of winter, being outside, walking. I don't know if anybody remembered, maybe Kristen or like anybody, because I tried to share it. And that's one of the things that I've just really committed to is sharing, because it's like, if it can happen to a habit change expert who can get a heart attack, then it can happen to anybody. And it's like that good stress, because you can be on a high and you can love what you're doing. And when you get these opportunities, you don't want to let go of that opportunity and you want to do it.
Yep.
But yeah, it's really important that it's not just bad stress. Yep. And that you can. And I maybe it's great for the brand. It's great for the brand because you share it.
Yeah.
It'd be bad for the brand if you tried to hide it.
Oh, 100%. There was never an ounce of doubt in my mind that I was going to share it. I waited 2 or 3 weeks before I shared it online because I didn't want people worrying and sympathy, and I shared it more as advocacy. So I waited a couple weeks, and then I think on LinkedIn I did a post like even a little bit later. But 100%, because you're the same way. Like I'm going to be very open. I'm not ever going to hide anything.
Yeah. And it's not for sympathy. I almost have to give these disclaimers that when I'm sharing something, I don't want sympathy. I don't want people to be reaching out and being like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I had messages from people after one of my recent posts. It was like 11 minutes long. And I laughed out loud for a lot of them because they were like, it's not advice. I'm just checking in on you. And I just want to say I hurt you. And,
Yeah.
But everyone's out tiptoeing around trying not to give me the advice, because it's like that sometimes can feel overwhelming in itself. And when people don't know all the back end as well. And always feeling you have to be careful when you give people advice, because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they've tried, what they haven't tried. And so even just the acknowledgement and the connection piece, because to me, that's the most important now. And, hearing about with the heart attack and how I can relate that with the pneumonia. I wasn't hospitalized, but I was bedridden. And it was a wake-up call for me that, like, how could I continue to do that? Yeah. And I can't even remember, like, what got me to the hospital. I think it was, because I was coughing and I exceeded the limit to where I could go back into the office without. So it wasn't even by choice that I went to the hospital. It was because I had to. I thought it was a check in the box. Yeah. And then they were like, oh no, like you're going home, you're going to bed. And yeah, I was bed ready for.
And women like us, like we know what we do with them. I mean, it is getting off the treadmill. It is a really hard habit to break.
Yeah.
Right? I think all of us are dealing with a double-edged. I mean, my therapist would always say every personality trait has a double-edged sword. Yeah. And so with ambition comes burnout. But it's finding that balance is like, I think that's the special sauce as we were doing. I'm also a Gemini, so yeah, or an Leo, so
it just works. I now transfer it to my loving husband, just hell. So I'm like, I'm not dealing with anything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's scrambling in the back end. So yeah, we'll have another podcast about that, I'm sure. But let's talk a little bit about energy. And that word for me means a lot. Being type A, right? And very pragmatic and, just in an environment that really does not prescribe to anything spiritual, energy related whatsoever. For some reason, so in January, I encouraged my community, and I did it for myself as well, to come up with their word of the year. What is that one word that we can anchor to that you'll continue to come back to? And I said energy was my word. And now we're almost a year in. That word means something completely different for me than it did in January. At the time, I thought energy wasn't like, can I do burpees quickly? But it was, how do I feel around people? And do I removing people and also bringing people in that I just naturally felt more energized around? So I was listening, but I didn't know how to label it. And through that word, I've been able to start to peel that back and discovered Reiki. And I just came from that 2-day healing retreat. And now I'm buying crystals and I'm finding myself like looking at astrology and numbers. And I'm really enjoying it. And I have a lot to learn, but through it, I'm having conversations. And then I find all the other people that are kind of into this too. And in the
That's
minute,
your reticular activating system, right?
Yeah.
It's because your brain's opened up to
I'm finding it. And so I remember we talked about it, I think it was at Carrie's event. And right away, it's like connection. And so talk a little bit about your journey into whatever you want to call it, if it's spirituality, energy, love to hear.
So I thought I should have said this because you were like, what was the biggest game changer? So if I could say what was the biggest game changer from my mental breakdown to where I am now, it wasn't the therapy, it wasn't the exercise, it was the energy healing. And I see someone, I had a couple different people in Ottawa. A lot of people are open to this. My dad's a doctor, my mom's a nurse. So you can imagine that conversation. But they saw what it did for me. So my dad is so sweet. And he was just like, whatever floats your boat and finds your lobster mouth. Like, I don't care. It's just, this is working for you. So I don't necessarily understand it. I'm starting to understand it more. I just know that I was someone who was never, I got into the energy world because I was told I couldn't have kids. And I don't take no for an answer. It's not my personality. So I'm like, oh yeah. And I found this healer and blah, blah. And I was pregnant two weeks later. And it's like a whole crazy story. But we are energy, which is wild. And so now that I'm like we are energy. And it's so funny how people are like, oh, that's woo-woo. And I'm like, do you know what an atom is? It's not, it's like everything is vibrating. And yet we think that like we are energy. We can feel each other. We can, and so I am not a practitioner. It's not something that the more I've done it, the more work I've done in it, the more it's really opened me up. The more it's like opened me up into like a more spiritual person. The more I'm able to help my clients, because I do truly believe I bring a different energy. So I don't necessarily talk to them about this if they're not open to it. Right. But I mean, we even said like manifestation. Like I weave in sneaky. I don't know when I was on a podcast, but like even if I'm client, I'm an executive client, and I weave in like, there's the neuroscience of your brain, that there's the confirmation bias. So what if we did some proactive 3 things in the morning, writing out like what you really want to change and what your goal is? Like all of that is priming in its energy. So that is a path that I'm deep down on, like 10 years in, and I love it. I could talk for hours, but it's just awesome.
It's fascinating. And the way I'm describing it is going from head center to heart center. And my whole life I've been head centered. And I talk about values often. And values to me is like I'm making decisions with my head because it makes sense, the logic, right? And my values are the compass for my decisions. What I now am realizing is that the values, when you listen to it, is also your intuition. Mm-hmm. It's just labeled differently. And so what I'm starting to do is ask myself, how does my body feel making this decision? And sitting in that for a second. And does it feel tight? If it feels tight, then I need to investigate that. Why does it feel tight? And ultimately make decisions that I might not want to make, but honoring the energy that I'm feeling when I'm thinking about it versus it no longer aligns with my values, therefore I must choose option A.
Yep.
Ghost values, option B. Like, it's just very, it's much too head centered. And I'm trying to find that balance because the Gemini in me still the yin and the yang and the masculine and the feminine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, we're talking about divine feminine masculine here. We really want to go down that road, but yeah, and I'm the same way. But the problem is women, especially women who are like driven, maybe in leadership roles, we have been in this world that we kind of had to assimilate to more of that masculine, like, right, in the last 100 years.
Look around us. We are
Right?
in the junior ranks best.
Yes. Right?
There are weapons.
Right. And so we had to, like, in order to get there, we kind of had to assimilate into that. And we're seeing a big shift, I think, now in terms of, like, I'm even coaching executive women on redefining leadership because they're like, well, I can't be a leader because I'm not that outspoken, like, whatever energy. Well, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. So I'm working on it. I'm still working on it, getting out of the head into the heart. I was with my energy healer on Friday and he's like, what do you think I'm going to tell you? I'm like, get out of my head and into my heart. I know, but it's, it's like easier said than done. But that's definitely, intuition comes first and then paradigm. My mentor would always say, intuition comes first and then your paradigm, which is your past, your beliefs, all the things that you've been taught and told and think that will come in second and say, oh no. Right. And so how can we actually just start trusting our intuition?
It does all come down to confidence.
Yep.
Inside Build Pro, which is our advanced business coaching community, is where I am getting to redefine like my leadership style. And because going through my career in the military and being a leader and a senior leader and a leader in a high profile position, there's a certain behavior that you fit the role. And inside Build Pro, which has been like amazing for me, is that it is something that I was able to build from nothing. And I feel this confidence and this like freedom to be myself because it's the only type of community that I want to be a part of. And if I go into that not being myself, and I feel drawn to show up as a leader, that is innate in me. It will always be. I'm always facilitating or leading or creating communities or something, but there has to be that balance today. And as I navigate, I saw a quote somebody had written, just because you're a coach, it doesn't mean you stop being a person. And I think it's important to show our humanness to actually be a good leader. But I also think that there is a line that we still have to maintain, which that's the line that I'm trying to walk right now. So I'm not crumbling and just like weeping inside the community. But if I'm having a bad day, I don't want to show up for a fitness, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to be like raw about that. And I'm going to talk about how I'm moving through the challenge, because I think that that's the key is, again, challenge is normal. Struggle is normal. And I want to normalize that. We all struggle. We all struggle. Everybody that you look up to struggles. They cry. They doubt themselves. Everybody. But rarely do people, talk about it, or they only talk about it when distance is there. So they've gone through it, they've rebuilt, and now they can be proud again. But not many actually talk while they're going through it and share how they're going through it. And maybe they go in a direction and that direction didn't work. And guess what? That's okay too, because that's going to happen.
Yep. I just put up a reel today or yesterday, I don't know, about confidence. Like, everyone thinks confidence is the confident person in the room is the one that is fearless. That's not true. There's going to be a couple people that really are just truly, and I would say like skews stereotypically more to men, like that would just have that because it's been built from childhood. Confidence is not showing up unafraid or having no imposter syndrome. It's having it and doing it anyway. And then realizing it's the same thing as habit change. Like, it's all a brain thing. Like, I could bring everything back to our brain. Like, that's what I love about this. And like going to the confidence gym is like building a new habit. So confidence is not, to me, that's why I actually use the word vibrancy now. It's like authentic confidence, like real confidence. Because confidence also can be, I looked very confident when I had my mental break. I looked real good. I have a picture that I put up in every keynote. I was looking good. I was not feeling good. So I was confident, but I wasn't vibrant. And I think that we're moving into an era of vulnerability. I think vulnerability is a superpower. I think we're seeing it more as depending on the industry, but I'm seeing even more in like leadership discussions, Brene Brown kind of thing. Depends. It depends, like military, maybe not, right? But it depends. I'm seeing it a lot more, especially with leaders, and people want that. People want real. Like you say, it's that person that can that balance and walk that line.
Yeah. Hold the confidence of the people as well that are around them. So
Yes.
what would you say is like the thing right now you're struggling with the most?
I feel like maybe you'll relate to this. It's taking my foot off the gas. So I'm still struggling, like still struggling because it's a habit. So I am in the habit of like just go. And today was a perfect example. 3-hour workshop this morning. Got home. Thankfully, I learned my lesson where I blocked my afternoon, but I helped my son study for science all afternoon, right? But really trying to listen to my body and slowing the treadmill down. That is always my biggest problem and will continue to be until I really figure it out. But I'm figuring it out. Yeah. It's dealing with that double life sword of that success gene and the yeah. So that's definitely for me. Yeah. Listening to my body, slowing down, and being okay saying no.
Yeah. It's you know how people on Facebook will be like, I'm doing a sweep and I'm, if you're still here, then congratulations, like you made it still on the friends list. That's how I feel like I'm doing in real life. Like I'm doing the sweep, everybody.
If you're here, this is amazing. You're on our list.
It's it's interesting. I do a lot of delegation, and so to the naked eye, it looks like I'm doing a ton of things. I have a great team, and it's one of the things I'm like really proud of is that I can be very okay. This is their role, and if they're struggling, let's figure out how to empower them to make those decisions. And or I just have a Jeff also, and he's rolling his eyes at. But Jeff, we need to get Jeff.
I need a Jeff.
We're at that point now. But yeah, I think the struggle for me the most right now is not understanding like what is going on inside.
Right.
That's
Going to tap into that.
Yeah, it's like if I've been working, doing all the right things for all the time, why is it still coming up? Like what, I think that there's so much work that needs to be done. And what I'm learning is that I don't sit in anxiousness or in overwhelm. I thought that I was going into calm, cool, collect. I thought I was like green all the time, just like really good under pressure, stress, whatever. But in fact, what I'm learning is that I go straight to red, which is shut down, disconnected, numb, escape, but I'm in it. Like but I'm actually like, I'm almost just like not even connected to it. Or I'll disconnect from people actually quite easily. If right away I can be like, nope, I don't want to deal with that. It's the Seinfeld effect. Anybody's remember Seinfeld with like, what is it, man hands or something? They always find like the smallest thing. I'll find the smallest thing and I make that very okay. So that's where my biggest struggle is, like just figuring the fuck out what is happening. Yeah. When I thought that I had everything together for so long and now not trusting my emotions because I can't regulate the way I used to regulate. which was not okay. So, you know, you have to recognize that part, but yeah, so.
And we're also go through stages of our life now that it shouldn't be the up times, right?
That too.
I mean, really, yeah, too.
Yeah.
The best thing, and I don't know if this is something that's gonna help other people, but it was one of my energy healers told me this, actually, not even my therapist. And she's like, I would go through these anxious weeks and it would just spiral. And I will have anxious days. I actually can't even think it's the last time I get like how far I've come, because I'd feel it coming on. And then I was like, oh my God, 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 oh my God. And then you're just like, it's worse because you're trying to like hold the storm weather and like just fix it and make it not come and be okay. And she was like, you can't control the ocean. You can just learn how to ride the wave. And today it might be rough, but today it's rough. And now your brain's taking over. And it's like, but what if it's rough tomorrow? And what if it's rough the next day? Oh my God, and now the storm is coming. And she just taught me just like, it might be rough today. And it might be rough. But it might be calm the next day. And to let go a little bit and be okay in the storm.
Yeah.
And I think that chasing happiness is a really dangerous thing because it's possible all the time. And so it's like everything. It's like habits. It's like plan A, plan B. It's all the same thing. And so for me, what really helped with my mental health was, oh, today I'm feeling really anxious. What can I do today? Go for a nature walk, cuddle with my son, maybe cancel some plays. I'm really looking forward to feeling better tomorrow. Period. And not thinking about it, not thinking it, but being okay to feel it without panicking about how long am I going to feel this? How is it? When, blah, 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 and just letting it be, like sitting in it.
Yep.
You just said it, like sitting in it, but just accepting it. And just letting it ride through. It's pretty amazing when you just let it ride through.
I started ranking my days. So I'd be like, I'm a 3 today.
Yep.
And my therapist said something very similar and said, it's okay to have an average day. Yes. It's okay to be average. Yes. And he was explaining how that's what he tells his children, that you're average.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And that's, where a lot of parents would instinctively want to say you're special, you're amazing.
You need to be amazing is that.
Yeah. And when you like go through life and you get validated and promoted and all the carrots handed, and then all of a sudden it's like you have bad days, and then those bad days seem worse. But it's almost like changing the barometer, and maybe 5 is a good day.
Yeah.
And maybe that's okay.
Yeah.
It's like, so then if I'm a 2, okay, well then it just means that today's 2.
Yep. Today's 2 and
today's 2. And we just manage a 2 day.
Life is short.
Yeah.
Short. I'm going to live it.
What would one piece of advice, if you could give one piece of advice to somebody listening or here in the room right now who might be struggling, who might be feeling shame, lack of confidence, self-doubt, unsure of, where to go. They've tried things over and over and over again, and they keep hitting a wall. What piece of advice could you give them right now for hope for that one step that they could take?
It's going to sound so cliche, but get help. And even if you can't afford a therapist or a coach, get help with a friend, like talk to someone. And even if you don't have that, write it out. We are creating a whole mess up here, and we cannot trust it. We cannot trust it. We have to even if it is simple as writing it all out and reading it, or to my best friend would read it. Like that's their minimum, but anyone can do that. Next up could be like opening up to a friend, a trusted friend, not someone who's just going to feed the negativity, because we all know, right? Like the venting does not help. Like it does help, but not really. But like someone who you really trust that could just help get you out of your own head, or hire, go and get help. That's the best thing you can do. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's really, really hard to do it on your own. I don't care how strong you are. Takes a village. Takes a village. Yep.
Katie, Faloon Drew,
Thanks for having me.
Where can people find you? How can people?
Well, we know I got the website, 14 years ago. Healthy,
solid.
yeah, healthyconfidentyou.com. Or Katie Faloon Drew on Instagram, or no, on LinkedIn, and then at Healthy Confident Letter U on Instagram. But I'm sure you'll.
We'll put it all there. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you very much for coming out with us, being our first live podcast.
Yeah, this is fun.
Amazing.
Real and raw. We do 5.
I know.
Although it would have been okay. We did.
Maybe this one.
Maybe
Yeah,
next time.
Katie 2.0. Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, girl.
Yeah.